Wellness Posse. Hold on, we're having some glare issues. Oh, look, there we are. Wellness Posse. Alli Waddell here for Wellness Posse Wednesday, where we get real and talk about wellness. Real wellness, that is. And I get to introduce you to some of my favorite humans. And one is here visiting from America's Hat.
America's Hat?
Also known as Canada.
What would you say if I was coming from Mexico?
America's pants.
Underpants? Or
Underpants.
Underpants. Okay, well.
America's crotch.
Okay, I can deal with being
the hat. So, most people like to say that social media has really separated us and caused this distance and caused this comparison, and I will not argue with those are some of kind of the not so positive things about social media, but what it really has done for me is actually allowed me to actually connect on a real significant level with people that I would not have had access to before. Yeah. And this relationship is one of those. We were connected originally through Connor Moore. Shout out to Connor.
Thank you, Connor.
Yes, and the formerly known as Pleasure Monkey Podcast, now known as the Realness Podcast.
Yeah.
And he has an amazing Facebook group, so I would definitely check that out. But we connected on there and really share a lot of the same unicorn spirits.
Yep.
And so I'm so lucky to have Melanie here. She came down to On It to do a durability course, and then she's going to do the Go For Your Win.
The mastermind this weekend.
Mastermind. We're going to get into that, what that has done for her. But please introduce yourself to the Wellness Posse.
Hey, Wellness Posse. I'm Melanie, and I'm from America's Hat, also known as Toronto area. I own a yoga and Pilates studio up there. We've been open for about 2 years, but my wellness journey started about 8 years ago when I was very overweight, and more importantly, I was really unhealthy. I was on more than a dozen prescriptions, and I asked my doctor, well, what can I do? And the doctor kind of went, you could try yoga. And I just leaped onto that little straw, and next thing you know, 8 years later, here I am. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm a mom of a almost 24-year-old. So yeah.
She's realizing that as she's saying it.
Yeah. And I've got family here in Texas, which is another reason why it was really exciting to come down to take this journey with On It, and then an extra opportunity to actually meet Alli in person.
Yay.
And I've got my unicorn pants on.
Yes.
She doesn't yet.
I will in a second. We actually have the exact same pants.
Yes, and they both have donuts on the butt.
Yes.
So
we'll show you an image. So I like to kind of start out, what is kind of the Cliff Notes version of how you kind of ended up on your wellness path. You weren't always on this path.
No.
And so how did you end up here? How did you decide to do the yoga and kind of take back your health?
Well, ultimately it was my doctor saying that I would probably, at the age of 32, need heart surgery the next year. Mm-hmm. I was having so many health problems, from diabetes to liver and kidney problems to anxiety to arthritic the gambit. And then I had prescriptions for the side effects of the first round. Mm-hmm. And the thought of heart surgery at that young age, especially being a mom, I was like, that was my wake-up call.
Yeah.
And it was also the same year I went back to Germany, because that's where I grew up. It was 20 years later, and I saw a bunch of my childhood friends, and I was like 5 times as big as all of them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about size, it was about happiness. Yeah. And so when I saw my childhood friends, they were like, so did you become the school teacher? And I was like, no. You became the journalist? Well, okay, you at least still dance, right? Because you love to dance, you love to move your body. You never gave that up. And I kind of went, do I look like I still dance? Mm-hmm. So I came back from Germany. I said, okay, enough's enough. A friend of mine owned a yoga studio. I kind of cried and I said, can I please come into this space? I decided to do yoga for a month, and I'm very type A personality. I'm Scottish background. I said, I'm going to do 4 to 5 classes a week. I'm going to make this, can I swear?
Yes.
I can make this shit happen. And at the end of the first month, I was still going to Burger King after class.
Yeah.
And I was more neurotic than ever. People were like, isn't yoga supposed to zen you out? You're like a bitch. Yeah. But then I had that one class, and the teacher played the same music every time, the same poses. And I thought to myself, this is the day I throw the yoga block at her. So I moved it out of the way when we got into pigeon pose. I was ready to like, this is my this is bullshit. This is yoga hippy dippy shit.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I cried.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you what was different. And all I remembered having in that moment was, I get it. I don't know what I got, but I heard this inside voice saying, I get it. And that's when I did not go to Burger King. I went home and I had some fruit. Yeah. And from there, it just snowballed into slowly cutting out one food at a time. I had tried every diet in the book, every one of them. Cabbage soup, all the big name brands, and nothing stuck. I think I lasted a week on a couple of them, and that was it. Yeah. And so for me, it was a choice, one at a time. If I can cut out pop for 1 week, I will then cut up potato chips for the next week. So one at a time. Yeah. And then I loved it so much, I took the Pilates classes, so mat Pilates. And I really resonated that with because it's very dance background, and I have that dance background.
And you love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so I took my Pilates training first. Okay. And then I took my yoga teacher training, actually with no intention to teach. It was really for me. Deeper. Yeah. And next thing you know, I'm subbing a few classes, and then I realized my weight was going down. It wasn't the goal to drop X pounds. It was, can I get off these prescriptions? Can I avoid heart surgery? And in the end, that's what happened. So, yeah, I started teaching, and then I started teaching 8 to 10 classes a week, both yoga and Pilates. And
while you were working your full-time job.
Oh yes, full-time job. I have a full-time job too. So yeah, and then the decision to open up my own studio happened very beginning of 2016 with business partners. It was the idea, actually very similar to On It, where it's the idea of sanctuary and strength. You know, Black Swan is affiliated with On It, and even the durability. It's this idea of getting into mind versus just the body, and then there's the strength part of the body. Yeah. Long story happened, it didn't work out the way, so now I just run my own space upstairs. But it's still with the idea of sanctuary and strength where people can come. There are no mirrors, none. It's really about wellness. It's not looking in a mirror, it's not the number on the scale. Yeah. So that's long-winded. But
no, it was not long-winded. I mean, that's a good synopsis. So you were, obviously you go back to Germany, and at some point you did still have that light. When did that light start to dim? Like, when did you transition? At what age, or was there a life event, or was it a slippery slope and just it slowly started to happen, or did something happen and then it kind of went off the rails?
I got married at a very young age, and I had my son at a very young age, and my first marriage.
What age was that?
16.
Yeah, that 16. Is young. That is young.
The relationship ended up being more abusive than someone at my age should have gone through.
And probably anybody at any age should go through.
That triggered a few things. Yeah. I'm very lucky that my parents allowed me to move back in, and I stayed with them for several years, helping to raise my son. And then I did the school thing, and then I got into this whole, corporate mindset of almost, okay, finish my high school, get really good grades, get a job, I did not want to be a mom on welfare. I did not want to create a pattern that I saw other girls my age with kids do. Yeah. So I was determined to get myself into an office job, and so for many years my goal was to become a manager or just work my way up and provide a life for my son that a lot of mom and dad families would do together, and it was me by myself. But then what really took the extra spiral down is many years later connecting with like a high school boyfriend. So a little bit of nostalgia there.
You got some love on that one.
Yeah. And we were together for 5 years, and it was really an unhealthy relationship.
Mentally, verbally, everything, or just kind of general lifestyle unhealthy?
Well, lifestyle for sure. Okay. He was one of those people at 6'1" and 145 pounds. He could eat 5 burgers and still look like, I don't want to, concentration camp survivor. Horrible analogy. But he'd reach up and his waist was, ugh. Yeah. So, and he was unemployed for a while. So I was paying for all the bills. I was driving. He didn't have his license. And there was no affection. I was being rejected for, sex. And so I tried sex. He said no. I went to the fridge and grabbed Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's or whatever I could get my hands onto.
Yeah.
And by the end of the 5 years, it was those particular 5 years where I had really put on a lot of the weight.
Okay.
While still trying to climb the corporate ladder, thinking that's where my happiness, where my joy would come from. Mm-hmm. It does not, just FYI.
Yeah.
And then things finally came to a head with this Germany trip where and he was with me on that trip.
Oh, he was?
Yeah,
okay.
I paid for his ticket. I came back and I had hoped that this trip might have triggered something in our relationship, and it didn't. It made it worse. And I realized I can't keep going, not just for me, but for my son. My son was witnessing his mom working long hours. I wasn't home as much as I wanted to be. And in the end, it was making me miserable. I was getting stressed out. I was getting also, heartburn and insomnia. I mean, the gamut. I mean, the list is too long to sit here. We don't have enough time for that. So I left. Yeah. I left and started the yoga. Actually, I started the yoga first. It was a couple of months after I started the yoga that then I left. Mm-hmm. And I've now found this balance of my day job, which is still a corporate job, but I'm no longer climbing the corporate ladder. Yeah. I'm still working hard and I'm good at my job and I like the challenge, but it's not my life.
And it gives you some mental and financial freedom
yes.
in order to pursue
exactly
what you feel like is really your calling.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Is the goal to stop your corporate job at some point?
Ideally, that would be I'm trying to build a life I love.
Yeah.
And if I can love 50% of it, awesome. If I can love 70% of it, even better. And work my way towards that. So I have a lot of interests. My father, I'm a Jill of all trades. I've written a novel and I'm trying to get the last few chapters edited so I can start submitting to publishers. But it's also, I teach. I have private clients. I run the studio. I've done everything for the studio, even taught myself how to build a website, which had some interesting experiences. And then my day job. Yeah. And so time is not a renewable resource, and it's making choices that sometimes, I hate the word sacrifice, but you do. You sacrifice one thing for another.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everything, and nobody wants to really have that conversation at a real level, in that choices don't, it's what you assign them. You can say one option is better than the other, but each of them have a sacrifice. I have that conversation right now about having kids. I'm almost 40. If I'm gonna have them, it might not even be we don't even know if it's an option, but the reality is, if I choose to have kids, I will be giving up a life that has a lot of positives to it. And if I have kids, if I don't have kids, I'll be giving up another life that also has positives and negatives to it. And so neither of them are good nor bad.
Yeah.
It is that, you will have some sort of it could have been that way. And I'm really good about reframing, so that makes that choice a little less scary. But I want to go into what is Go For Your Win. Explain to people what that is, how you got into it.
Okay, so
and how it's impacted you.
I've been listening to Aubrey Marcus's podcast for about 2 years now, and he's kind of the guy that started on it. And so listening to his podcast, I really like philosophy with regards to total human optimization. And he created this program called Go For Your Win. And it's got 3 modules in it, and it takes you through these amazing prompts and exercises to start peeling away some layers. Now, there's some exercises that make you really uncomfortable. Like, I think I got nauseous a couple of times having to dig layers down. But it's to talk about, what is your mission, your purpose, and how to apply certain things, and recognizing when fear shows up, you can know your mission, but be scared to death to actually pursue it. So, talking about resilience, mental override, there's a lot of health, lifestyle stuff sprinkled in to help support you, talking about making choices. And part of that Go For Your Win is a Facebook group. And I think there's about 600 or 700 of us in that group. And so Eric Godsey, love you, Eric, by the way, if you're watching this, he gives us challenges every week, and we have to do them, and then we have to video ourselves. And I can be in front of a class of 40 people. I've been in a class of 100 people, but to sit and film myself makes me nauseous. Even this, I'm like, Alli, I might need to, So really getting us out of our comfort zone. And then the Go For Your Win led to a mastermind, which is a weekend of amazing activities, from Black Swan yoga classes. Christine Hassler is coming down to do a work like a lecture.
I love Christine.
Yes.
If you're watching, I love you and I'm obsessed with you.
I brought her book so she can sign it. A bit nerdy. Kyle's Kingsbury. So a bunch of activities and small group breakouts. So that's what started back at the end of January, February, and I needed something to reignite my own spark, because I realized I was starting to feel a bit burned out.
Yeah.
The hours and what I'm trying to accomplish, and doing it on my own.
Yeah.
So this has helped kind of give me a little bit of a kickstart again, and so the mastermind is this coming weekend. But one of the other things is I constantly want to learn. I keep taking courses with either Shiva Ray, my yoga teacher, or my Pilates school. And then I thought, I want something different. I've got lots of yoga training. I've got lots of Pilates training. I felt like I needed something to shake it up, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I took the durability this past weekend and blew my mind. Christian and Shane were amazing. Universal truths about body movement. So brilliant. So I signed up for foundations at the end of July. I'm coming back. So yeah. I love that I can apply it to both my yoga and Pilates classes and some of my signature classes where I blend everything, my Fusion Evolution class.
Yeah.
I can incorporate everything. Now I just have to get some equipment. And I don't know if, the kettlebells, the steel maces, and the clubs will pass check-in at the airport.
Probably.
So, but yes, I'll find a way to get some equipment up there.
That's fantastic. I do like to leave people, or kind of have a real conversation about what have you implemented in your life that are real actionable steps that you feel like in general most people could implement that can have a real impact on.
The biggest thing is move your body, not out of punishment. Don't say to yourself, I had this donut, I have to have an extra 30 minutes on the cardio machine. Move your body from a place of love and joy. And the biggest thing that I've learned, and I'm grateful to some of my teachers that teach at my studio, especially Sandra, who's the Acro Yoga teacher, have fun, play, be silly, laugh. Don't take yourself so seriously. Whether it's going for a walk, I challenge you to go for a walk, go on the sidewalk, that little curb, and balance. Be silly. If you trip, you know what? It's not a far trip. You're probably going to be okay. I'm clumsy. I trip and I'm okay. But have fun. Find a friend. Take a new class. I've got a group of friends. We're talking about trying a pole dancing class.
I love it. That's actually one of my favorite classes. It's so hard.
It is. But, and we have an amazing pole dancing studio next door to our
Oh,
studio.
fun.
And I'm friends with the owner, Cassandra, and it's like, I need to go.
Yeah.
Try something new. No matter how scared you are. Today I took my first fundamentals class and I walked in, I'm like, I should leave. I should just wait for Alli and not get sweaty. And I was trying to come up with every excuse not to take this class, and I kind of finally said, chuck it in the fuck it bucket. And just do it. But one step, move.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I've realized now is it doesn't matter if you do yoga, whether you lift weights, whether you do Pilates, whether you are a runner. There's some hardcore athletes in here that I'm watching going, I hurt just
you want
watching.
to do this a lot. Like you're like,
Yeah.
yes, keep
Actually,
it
I
up.
wanna do
And
something like this.
take your shirt off at the same time.
Yes.
I appreciate this.
Actually, I don't think I've seen many shirts on.
No, that's why On It is actually really nice. Ladies, if you're looking for some eye candy while you work out, On It is not a pleasant place to be.
Just move. Walk your dogs. And parents, no matter what age your kids are, from toddlers to even the 23, almost 24-year-olds, go play with them. My son was into parkour, free running for many years, and I tried it, even got the Vibram shoes. And yes, I fell and hurt my knees, and he got some good laughs at me. But just start. And the biggest thing is, don't worry about what you look like. We get so caught up in, it goes back to this social media, we're comparing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Just play. Yeah. And don't care about what you look like.
Well, nobody is looking at you. That's the funniest part that you realize at some point is like, everybody is so concerned with themselves. Nobody gives a flying fuck what you look like when you're doing lunges. Like, nobody gives a flying fuck. I'm not kidding. Like, when is the last time you were walking around going like, oh my God, did you see that crazy? Every once in a while when somebody busts their ass, I do laugh. But it's just funny. But I laugh at myself when I fall down. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just, stop taking yourself so seriously.
Yes.
It's so crazy to me. That is something that I'll have to say about some kind of serious gyms like this, is I walk around and go like, you can just chill the fuck out. Like, it's all right. You can smile and have fun while you're doing it.
Well, I've gone around already, and I've managed to convince 2 of the guys here, the bigger guys, to lift them up into acro yoga.
Oh, yeah.
They've never done this, and they're not small dudes, and they're looking at me going, are you sure? Are you sure? I'm like, just trust me. But once I get them up, looking at their faces, they're laughing, they're cracking up, and I'm like,
This is what we need.
This is what you need more of. So I think my goal for this the rest of the week and when I come back is I'm going to find every trainer here and I'm going to try and lift them. So
this is awesome.
It's not going to be get on it, it's going to be lift on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, lift on it. So the other thing that I like to share with people is everybody gets off track. You know, like, we're going along, and people somehow think that once you're a wellness person, that then you got it. You did it. Success. Never need to worry about wellness ever again. Check that shit off the box.
Yeah.
But the truth is, just like every human, it's cyclical, you know.
Yes.
And hopefully you're getting better at, like, the dip is not so low and it's not so long.
Yeah.
But I do like to share with people about how have you, with a real example, gotten off track, and then what have you used? What are some of the tools in your toolbox you've used to kind of get yourself, focused back?
Oh, I've definitely gotten off track, and Halo Top ice cream only just arrived in Canada. We only have like 6 flavors. Girls back home who love the Halo Top with me, they have like 20 flavors here. And yes, I've tried all of them since being here in less than a week. So yes, I get off track, and especially for me, when I get off track is when I'm tired. If I haven't slept properly.
Too. That is one of my biggest triggers.
And then once you're tired, you don't have that resiliency to deal with stress coming at you or schedule changes and you're like, oh my God. So for me, one of the biggest things, and it might seem a little hokey, is I use music. I love music. I actually apologized to Isak, who was teaching the fundamentals, because I kept sneaking over to my phone to Shazam his music. I will Shazam music everywhere. I will stand in the middle of a dining room in a restaurant, and so I've actually fallen in a toilet because I couldn't get it in the bathroom. I was standing on a toilet and I was like, let me, and thunk, my foot landed. So, but music can change your mood. Music can fuel you. Yeah. So if I'm feeling that, let's call it a downward spiral. When you feel yourself, you've either not got enough sleep, or for me, if someone doesn't show up to my class, and there I am, no class, I could sit there and pout and feel sorry for myself, or I turn on my music. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't move to music, picking some music that makes you feel good can you still have this spiral, but you can start shifting the direction. So instead of going down, you can keep going, but all of a sudden you can bring yourself back up. Do not, and I have nothing against country music, but don't listen to country music if you're getting the downward spiral. I have yet to hear a song that's not about breakups, except for Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, or something. Oh, and that Ride a Cowboy. Yeah. The rest, don't do country music. And for each of you, it's going to be something different. Some of my favorite music is from when my mom, she used to teach aerobics. like the Jane Fonda stuff.
Yes, yes.
So I will throw on like Bee Gees, Staying Alive, or It's Raining Men, and just get as cheesy and as dorky as you need to. Something that makes you smile, or at the very least, tap your foot. Do not listen to Rage Against the Machine when you're driving in traffic and you're in the downward spiral. So music, and music is so accessible today, whether it's through iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, good old-fashioned CDs in your older car.
Yeah, YouTube video.
And you can get it for fairly inexpensive.
Or
it's
free.
For free.
Yeah.
So it's very budget friendly. There is, in my opinion, no excuse not to tap into that tool.
I love it.
So
we have had nobody say that. That's what I love. Hold on, we're gonna read comments. Love. Oh my God, you're hilarious. True inspiration. Empowerment shirt. So true. Compare yourself to others. Oh, thank you. Incorporating play, Laura.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Play.
Play.
And then play some more.
Yes. And play with friends.
Yes. In a publicly appropriate way. Or not.
Or not. I don't know. I'm a big fan of that as well. Okay, now we're on to the rapid fire wellness round. These are rapid fire questions. Are you ready? Do you have a morning and evening routine?
Yes.
What is that?
Morning, I wake up and I have a mineral cocktail, which is water with some salt and lemon. And I put on music right away. And then
do you have a morning like jam list, or do you have like a certain?
Yeah, it changes though. It depends on my vibe, but it's always upbeat, something that gets me moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, my alarm clock on my phone isn't. Whoever wakes up with that alarm.
I do, and I need to change it. I've thought of that.
That sets your adrenals off. I am
horrible.
Stressed out.
Like this morning, I didn't turn I always turn the volume down so it's real light, because it's not it's like some weird kind of noise. But I normally turn the volume way down so it's real low. This morning I didn't turn it, and it was like full blast, and I was like, the house is on fire! It's like not good for your adrenal system.
I usually spend about 5 minutes just doing some body modality, just kind of loosen up the joints, and I'm usually at the gym or doing yoga in the morning first thing before I go to work, because that allows me, I'm setting the tone for the day.
Yes.
I'm not this victim of I have to go to work. No, I'm getting up early. I get up at 4:30, 5 a.m., move my body a little bit, hit the gym, and then make my way to work, because I start work at 7:30.
Okay, great. Evening routine?
Evening routine, I don't own a TV. And if anyone has a TV in their bedroom, get rid of it!
I agree with that one. Especially if you have a partner, because you're never going to have sex if you have a TV in your room.
Yeah, so it's try to turn down my electronics. Your phone, your laptop, get the Flux program or night shift mode, so to get rid of the blue light stuff to make sure you wind down. But our bodies are sensory, so sight, touch, smell. You can train your body. I use a certain incense stick every night, and that's telling my body now, I smell this, it's bedtime. A different incense is my meditation incense. So if I want to put myself in a meditative state, I use that incense. But there's always the one for bedtime.
Essential oils are really great for that.
I use tons of essential oils.
Good.
Yeah. I actually have a little kit in my bag with these little mini things. I got asked at airport what they were. So, but no, essential oils. So anything you can do with your sensory organs. So whether it's getting some coconut oil, massaging your feet and your lower legs to really wind down and ground, incense.
Some people like baths or showers.
Yes, yeah.
My
definitely
the littlest one is like a hot shower at night.
Yeah.
Like that's his wash off the day.
It's wash off the day. Also making sure, and I know it sounds simple, but don't go to bed with your gym clothes, even if they're fresh, clean ones. Have specific clothes that are only for bedtime.
Or no clothes.
Or no clothes, yes, fair. But tell your body that this is not going to show up at the gym one day. Yeah. This is sleepy time clothes, so that's really nice. But at nighttime when I'm using music to wind down, I use something with no lyrics, or if there's vocals, it's no lyrics.
Yeah.
Slower, gentle, kind of in the family of binaural beats.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes it's yoga type music with mantra where it is a lyric but it's repetitive, so it kind of puts your brain into a different state. And then clean bed sheets.
Sheets.
Clean
I'm just
bed
telling
sheets.
you, if you're gonna invest in two things, I'm saying expensive ass sheets that are nice and good towels.
Yes.
I mean, every adult needs to like do those things for themselves.
Yeah.
Like they are kind of expensive, but they really do last for a long time if you take care of them.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, sheets and towels,
Yes.
do it.
And wash them regularly.
It is worth it.
Once a month is not regularly.
Once a
Just
month.
so we're clear.
Weird.
Yes, I've had interesting conversations with people.
Once a month.
So, yeah.
Especially your pillowcases. Your face is on that.
Yes, yeah. So that's kind of my bedtime routine for the most part.
I like it.
Yeah, I journal a lot.
Is that a certain time of day or when you're
In the
feeling
morning,
like it?
it's always gratitude. 3 to 5 things I'm grateful
Big
for.
thing.
And some mornings, if I'm struggling, when I'm feeling that downward, it might be as simple as my pillow, my mattress, and water.
Yeah.
It might be very simple. And other days, it's like, I remember a class I had yesterday, really, and grateful for my students. But then other days, it's just like pillow, bed, shoes. Actually, I don't like shoes. I like being barefoot.
Yeah.
But
That kind of-
gratitude in the morning, and then at nighttime, it's still connecting to gratitude, but it's also things like 3 things that I accomplished that day and didn't give myself credit for. And it doesn't have to be a checklist. It doesn't have to be a task list. But, today I talked to a student after class, and it was just an extra 3 minutes, but I made that connection. So
I think that stuff is so
yeah.
smiling at the person that checked you out at the
Yes.
grocery store.
Yes.
Saying hello to somebody you didn't know. Like,
yeah.
those are tiny things that if you remind yourself to
Yeah.
do, they just propagate.
I've actually
more
made
happiness.
a little game for myself. Anytime I go to any store, regardless of what I'm doing there, whoever is cashing me out, I make a point to find one thing to say to them, whether it's I like your earrings, or oh my God, you got fantastic nails, or girl, I like your dress. Doesn't matter. One thing that can light them up. And I watch them light up.
It's amazing. Even seriously holding eye contact and
Yes.
purposely saying thank you, like holding
Yes.
eye contact.
Yeah.
Like, nobody does that to cashiers. And
Yeah.
like just that moment, like you can tell some people are like, whoa, hi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're like, you're looking at me.
Yeah. Or when you make that compliment, they kind of they look around. And they're like, there's no one behind you. I'm talking to you.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
a great one.
Yeah.
What's your spirit animal?
I'm going to say unicorn.
Yes.
Alli had the best post a while ago, and I remember seeing it, and she goes, my spirit animal would stab yours. And it's a unicorn. I'm not sure my unicorn is as violent as hers.
I don't know. I don't think mine is. I just thought that was like one
It
of
was
the funniest
hilarious.
things I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your superpower in real life?
My superpower in real life is connection. Connection with people. And being able to facilitate others connecting, creating tribe.
Yeah. Love that.
And lifting people.
Oh, yes, she is good. Check out her Instagram. If you could put a slogan on a t-shirt and make everybody wear it, what would it say?
Ignite, evolve, and rediscover you.
Oh.
And yes, that's my studio's slogan, but I live with it. It's that ignite something. If I can ignite a spark in someone, I've won. Evolving, it's because I don't want to change anyone. I think you're imperfectly perfect the way you are. But evolve, grow, whether it's through mind, body, and soul. And then for me, what my journey has done is I've reconnected and rediscovered that little girl that used to dance everywhere. The little girl that used to lead her best friends into the woods in Germany to play Robin Hood games. And I was very coordinated. She was Robin Hood, I was Maid Marian. But I've reconnected with that girl. And she has grown up, but she hasn't. So that's to me, and it doesn't matter if it's wellness related or just life related. So that would be the slogan. And I might be getting those on a t-shirt or a tank top maybe. If anyone's interested. Yeah, so.
What is one core belief that you had about wellness that you used to have that you don't have anymore?
That I had to punish myself at the gym for either food choices or, you know, it's been a week since I've gone. I have to now go for 4 hours and kill myself. This idea of punishment. Nope.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is a lot of people.
That's been chucked in the you-know-what bucket.
On the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
Two-parter.
Uh-oh.
What would you tell your 16-year-old, doesn't have to be 16, but that was an important year for you, so maybe you want to share some words of wisdom with her. What would you tell your 16-year-old self, and what would your 90-year-old self tell you today?
Oh, okay. Well, today I would tell my 16-year-old self that happiness cannot be found in another person or in a job. Happiness isn't something you search for outside. And happiness starts here somewhere. And it's just that small little flame. And to find ways to fan those flames and not stifle them. And that through that process, don't be someone else because you think that's who they want. Be who you are, whether it's a unicorn, whether it's Pegasus. To have that, I don't know if confidence is even the right word, but to be who I want to be. And it's funny, my son and I had a conversation. So what are you going to be when you grow up, Mom? I'm like, I don't know. And I don't think I need to know.
Yeah.
So just trusting in that part. So that's definitely 16-year-old self, because I was very much about pleasing everyone else and being someone else and looking for happiness on the outside. But my 90-year-old self, well, hopefully my 90-year-old self is still doing handstands and lifting people.
Hell yeah.
She would probably tell me to not worry about the money so much, not stress about the money so much, that things will fall into place, to play more, and to give myself permission to feel more. And in a way, to slow down that whole stop and smell the roses kind of scenario, because I'm very like, go, I want to do this, and so that's what I suspect she might say. And she would tell me to keep playing and keep lifting people.
Yes. Well, thank you, love.
Thank you.
You know I love you so much. Do you have any final words or things you want to share with the Wellness Posse? Anything coming up for you? Anything?
Well, we've got. Speaking of play, adult play, we have an amazing thing coming up at my studio on June 22nd. Beer yoga.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, with Christina. We've had it once before, and it's hilarious, and it's so much fun. There's always some acro play afterwards, and great picture opportunities. So that's coming up. But really, just stop being afraid. Do something despite your fear and move your body from a place of love and joy and connect with people. So this isolation doesn't have to take place. We talk a lot about, social media and being attached to our phones. If it wasn't for this, I would never have met Alli. And I was saying when I first met her on Friday, she was like, oh my God, it's you. And she hugged me. I'm like, you're taller than I thought. we have people in these phones, but she was taller. And I'm like, whoa. Use the phone, reach out. I use social media to connect to my trainer, Kevin. I didn't know if he'd ever respond, but he did. But you can use this to connect. Don't use it to compare your life to others, but connect, create a tribe, create a community.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love you, all of you people. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Mwah. Bye, bitches.